Today we've got the weird, unusual, and actually pretty helpful gym equipment that I use in my own training often. A lot of it's in this goodie bag, others of it is in other places. I'm gonna show you 10 items or so that you've probably never seen before that you can add to your home gym to help you get extra results. Let's do it. Hey guys, it's Coop from Garage Gym Reviews. Welcome. Today I'm gonna walk through a few items that I use in my home gym. All of these range in cost, but I would say generally they're pretty cheap. First is this U-clip, not the belt, but actually the U-clip. This is designed basically to use dumbbells as resistance instead of weight plates. It's actually a very simple device, pretty smart. The guy who made this, he was an engineer in college or something. Pretty cool, like come up story basically. He came up with this idea. He's put this into a couple different functions. I noticed he has a new one that's like a lat bar basically, but this hole here is not just for looks. It's also so you can add it to a barbell. But let me show you by adding a dumbbell. So the way this would work, if you want to use this for pull-ups or something like this, you can wrap this around just about any dumbbell size. I've got really fat handles, Eleiko Evos at my garage, and I use this with those, no problem. This would be an example of using it for something like weighted pull-ups. You can also use it for weighted marches or whatever, but you can add this in all sorts of ways to a belt or any like basically clip carabiner that you've got. You could even use it on the other side of say a DIY lat pull down or something, so you don't have to buy weight plates. But there's more you can do with it. The reason that they have this is so that you can put it on the end of a barbell. So if you wanted to use your dumbbells on your barbell because you don't have much weight, barbell from nowhere, you can slide it on like that, and then you have your dumbbell on there. You can come up with a lot of different movements. One that I see often that's pretty cool, you take a spotter pin like you would typically see on a 1-inch hole rack, you place this in one side, and then you put the barbell on the other side, you can adjust the height, and then you basically have a Viking press that you can use on any spotter pin really easily and pretty cheaply. Honestly, this is one of those like Swiss Army knives that's very cheap. And if you don't even have a home gym, this is a great gym bag purchase. You just throw it in the gym bag, and then when you go to the gym, you have a lot more versatility you can use it for without taking up a lot of space. I really like this. Okay, next are some accessory straps. I used to never use straps on deadlifts or whatever. I'd use mixed grip. That's a different training purpose. If you're training for hypertrophy, you want to focus on the movement that you're doing or the muscles that you're doing the movement for. So these are VersaGrips. If you've never heard of VersaGrips, these are freaking incredible. So I've used basically all sorts of lifting straps over the years. These always just seem kind of goofy to me. You know, it's like, why would I want those? Well, after getting a pair every back day, pretty much every movement I'm using them. They've got some, as Dr. Mike would say, like outer space alien technology in the actual like rubber they use on here. They're made in the USA. The idea is basically to grip any bar you've got, whether it's a barbell, landmine handle, lat pull down handle, or pull up handle, so your grip is just incredibly secure. So the way that it works is you just wrap this around and then you put your hand on there, and literally it's just like nothing. It just pulls from your wrist instead of the hand. It's so grippy, and it takes so little tension that you have to put on there. Like literally you can just use your fingertip and it still grips. It works just so well. So if you're doing a lot of pulling movements and you don't want your grip to fatigue, this is a great option. There's a lot of people that are like, well, then you're not working your grip. Well, most people that are using these are just working their grip separately. When I'm doing dumbbell rows, I'm not necessarily trying to work on my grip on dumbbell rows, basically work my back as much as I can. And often what fails first is your grip. This allows you to basically push your back further than you would, and then you could work your forearms elsewhere. So I highly suggest these for just about any pulling movement. They're also pretty cheap and made in the USA and lots of colors. Big fan. This next one is a cable attachment that, very similar, is more of a hypertrophy muscle building attachment. It's very cheap. We'll put some links below the like button. Make sure you hit that on the way down. It's very simple. It's an ankle roller strap or an ankle keeper strap. Ankle strap. A lot of times the way they market these is so you wrap them around your ankle and you use them for like DIY leg extensions, DIY leg curls. Honestly, that's the worst use for this in my opinion, because it always rides up and all that sort of stuff. The way I use these is for different pulling or pressing or raising movements so that it takes your grip out. Very similar to the VersaGrips. This is a way that you can take your grip out on different movements. I actually initially used these in Sweden with Oscar from Eleiko, and he was using the ones that I also have. These are from Beyond Power. They're not that great. You can see that just comes off. But also there's other companies like Eccentrics that have them, cheaper companies too. But we use them there, and we were basically laying on a back and doing a rear delt exercise. Well, I've liked them so much that I've attached them to my Temple of Gains multi-flight so that it takes your grip out. On any shoulder raise, these things are incredible because you're not having to like deal with your wrist issues. You're not having to grip it, which feels awkward. You just put it on and then you can use it. You can use them instead of putting them on the wrist, you can grip them right here, and it's just a very comfortable grip for all sorts of movements. One arm extensions feel absolutely incredible, and it's just basically an easy way to grip. Honestly, in my opinion, top 5 cable attachment. If I only had 5 cable attachments, these would be one of them. That good, and they're really cheap. Then to one I've got in the background. This is a very unique piece. People see these and they either love them or hate them. On my personal Instagram at Home Gym Coop, come follow me. I posted a video using these and man, it got a ton of views, but it got a ton of haters. Well, I can understand why they get hated. That's what I said. They do look pretty goofy, but if you're working in a home gym, what a lot of commercial gym rats don't understand is you're often working out alone. So you want to be as safe as possible. And this is a way that you can lift with dumbbells safely and also start at the top of reps. A lot of people didn't recognize the fact that this does not make it easier to do the movement. These each weigh about 10 pounds. So in reality, it's actually harder because they're heavier. But the way they work, you put the dumbbell in. They do have a fat grip version, by the way, that has come out, which I'd really like. This is an old version. This is like probably 7-8 years ago when we initially got these. And they've just kind of held around. So basically the way that works, you put a dumbbell in here, you can do as heavy dumbbells as you want. Well, I think I put a 150-pound round head in this one time and it held no problem. But after you place it in, there's a trigger on top, which you squeeze with your finger and you'll hear it unlock. You basically lift up, squeeze. Isn't that nice? You can do your movement. So here's my chest press. These are 40-pound dumbbells, but these add about 10 pounds. Notice how easy this is for me. It's just like nothing. But then you drop it, let go, they lock. Sam, do we want to test how safe these are? Could you just place your head here and we'll just see if they'll hold. So yeah, so far they've been super safe. What this allows you to do is you start at the top of rep. Let's say you're doing a max press or something. You then, let's say you're at the end of your rope, you know, it's just like, With dumbbells, ordinarily you'd have to drop them, which could wake up your kids. Also just like shoulder injuries, whatever. But now you just get out of the way. And then for your next set, if you want to start at the top of a rep, just squeeze it, lift it, and you're good to go. I think these just look goofy because they're unusual. Like they're just not used to using them or seeing them. For a home gym, I think these are actually a great addition. They're pricey, they're overpriced. I mean, I don't know if they're a small company, but the idea of lifting safely with dumbbells and having like a spotter system, you can start at the top of rep. Honestly, this is one of the best solutions if you've got the spend. If you don't have the spend, just get Mad Spotters, which we've talked about before, and do something somewhat similar, but allow you to start at the top of a rep. I like them. A lot of people, you're gonna use these with adjustable dumbbells. So on the compatibility issue, they're gonna work for most fixed dumbbells. They will also work for any cageless adjustable dumbbell or most. They're a little bit wide, so some will fit, some won't, depending on the width of the handle. But Rep-Ins, I haven't found a way to fit them on there because this is too long. So I bet you could probably cut this off or something so it could get in there if you really wanted them to work on Rep-Ins. I'm sure there's a way, but at this point, I haven't really figured out a way how to do it. If you do know how, let me know in the comments. Okay, next is one, this is for people who have Beyond Power Voltras. Some of you have them, some of you don't. Those who have them absolutely love them. Those who don't have them either don't have them because they think digital resistance is never gonna work in a home gym, which by the way, you're wrong. I think it's the future. But also, it's too expensive for people right now. But if you do, then you know how expensive and how much attachments for the Voltra matter. So right now, this attachment that's on here is their sliding attachment, which is pretty expensive and honestly, in my opinion, not just the greatest implementation. It works fine, but for the sliding feature, I just don't use it that much. I like their adaptive mount a lot, but Darko recently came out with these collaborated with a guy named Dr. Taddy Waffles on Reddit, basically to create a pin mount. So this works on any 3x3 upright with 1-inch or 5/8-inch holes in the same variation. The way this works, I mean, it's so simple. Why nobody thought of this before? I don't know, I didn't think of it either. But you just put this in here, put the pin in, and then you attach your Voltra to it. This also allows you to move it up and down the upright. Honestly, even easier than that one. Pull the pin. Like, you can attach it to any 3x3 that has either 1-inch or 5/8-inch holes. You get to use your nice mag pins. You can put them high, you can put them low. It just works really well. It's also not crazy expensive, made in the USA. They just are really great. I expect them over time to come out with different variations. In fact, there's a variation that I messaged him, was like, man, it'd be really cool if it could do this. And he's like, okay, I'll see if I can work on it. So I expect more and more of these to come, but if you have a Beyond Power Voltra and you're looking for the best mount, this is the mount I would get, by far. And it's not even the most expensive. Next attachment. Now this is something if you have a Voltra, you can use it with this, but you can also use this with just about any cable machine. So if you're using a cable, this is a great addition that you can use. I actually first saw this from a guy named Kaizen DIY. He did this for a belt squat. And the idea, I think I've seen this in climbing functions before too. It's a climbing pulley. The way that you could use this in a home gym is doubling the felt load of whatever machine you're using. Think about this. In a lot of cable machines, you're dealing with ratios of like 2-to-1, 3-to-1, 4-to-1, things like that, where they're reducing the load but extending the cable travel of the machine. Using a pulley like this, and the way I'm gonna show you, does the opposite of that. So instead of decreasing the load, it increases the load. The reason that matters is there are many people that can belt squat a lot more than say a Voltra can handle, or say their cable machine has. This allows you to shorten the cable travel, but double the load using a simple pulley. So the way that it would work on something like this, you would put this in something near your cable machine. You then attach your cable to it, and I'm just showing you an instance. I wouldn't actually use it like this, and you could use it for different movements. But then you take your pulley. This one's from Petzl. You can get these much cheaper too, no big deal. You then wrap this around. So if I was doing a belt squat or something like that, I could place it on a bottom foot or something and then use it in this orientation. You then take your carabiner and attach it to whatever you're using. Let's just say a cable handle. I then go in and I'll select my weight. And again, I'm showing you on a Voltra. Some of you are like, I don't have a Voltra, I can't do that. Wait, I'm just saying you can do this on any cable machine too. 24 pounds. Well, this is gonna pull at double that resistance. So it's showing 24, but really what you're feeling during use is 48. You're doubling the load. This is a way that you can do lat pull downs with a single Voltra or a single cable machine at a much higher weight than what you could do ordinarily, and do it without having 2 Voltras or a heavier cable stack, all that sort of thing. What I would like to see is companies with cable stacks like lat pull downs or functional trainers or something, implement this as an option if people want to use it. So an attachment point, so you could put the cable up and then attach this to it. Or on the Voltra, if they came out with another Voltra or an update to this one that allowed you to have a carabiner right here that you could attach it to and then put this in. You could double the felt load. This definitely has enough travel for nearly every movement. Even if you half the cable travel, this would be amazing. So I'd want to see more of that. But if you want to kind of DIY it, we'll put a link to these that you can find. They're pretty cheap. Okay, if you're trying to look like a guy you don't want to mess with, one of the markers of a guy you don't want to mess with is a really thick neck. You basically want a neck where there's no neck. You ever met one of those people? It's like Mr. No Neck, where it just like goes straight from their head to their shoulders. Traps are so big. One way that you can do that is actually training your neck. What a weird idea. There's quite a few of these devices out there. I've used an iron neck, we've recommended it in the past, but they're too expensive for a lot of people. This is a way that you can add neck training using an adjustable bench and plates you already own using this device from Kensui. So you would attach some sort of weight plate. It's just got a 2-inch sleeve receiver on there. You tighten this down, and now you get on the end of a bench, put this on top of your head and lay back, and go forward and back. And then if you want to work all sides of your neck, some of the really expensive machines are called 4-way necks because you go this way, you turn side to side. You just do that, you're just using gravity instead of like a cable machine. You can then put this on the side, each side, and then on the back. It's just a way to easily rest it against your head. Technically, if you really don't want to deal with this, you can just put a towel over your head and then put a plate on there. But if you want something a little bit more bougie, but not crazy bougie because it's not crazy expensive, and you got the foam on there and the handles, this is a great way you can do it. I do think that necks are one part of the body that most people do not train. And what happens is you see this in society all the time. What's the position most of us are in all the time? Like here, right? And so you got this neck that's just like overdeveloped in some areas, underdeveloped in other areas, and it's just not good. People are gonna have a lot of problems when they get older. That's a way to combat that. And just to get a bigger neck. Okay, 2 more. One is this, Lockjaw. These are barbell collars, a new collar from Lockjaw that they just came out with. Lockjaw, they were one of the first companies that came out with like a premium premier collar. You saw them everywhere. They even ended up doing one with Rogue, probably best-selling collar of all time, the Rogue HG collars. That was just a rebranded Lockjaw collar. Well, everybody started making their own collars. They started using aluminum. Well, Lockjaw decided to come up with a new version. This is a good collar. I don't think it's like the best collar in the world, but it works well. Place this on here, snap it down. Very easy to use when you want to take it off. Snap it up. They have nice aluminum colors. They're anodized, and like everybody loves, they have magnets. So you can place it on there and it's like a firm magnet. Now we've reviewed literally every collar on the market. If you'd like to see that video, one that I would like to do is a tier list for best collars. Let me know in the comments if you'd like to see that, and I'll include these. But I think they're a cool collar design. Although right now, some of my favorites on the market, just like look, finish, feel, all that sort of stuff, are the Titan Twist Lock Pro collars. Those things are pretty sweet. The last one is these handles. These are from Dynepic. These are spiral strength grips. They look pretty basic. I've shown one in the past. It basically has one string that goes all throughout and then attaches to a pulley. I actually like these more because I can do them individually and for tricep work. You also use them for like hammer curls, but for tricep work, rear delt work, these are just incredible. Now, Rogue did come out with a version of their own, kind of like their tricep extension that has the pulley in the middle, but they're using a knurled handle. It looks okay, but one reason these are so great is that basically that cone shape. It's one reason that everybody loves the Prime Kaz handles. It just feels very natural in your hand. And so you can attach this to a cable machine, and then suddenly for tricep kickbacks or overhead, one of my favorite tricep extensions just for the ultimate stretch, this is a great way to do it. Same thing for like face pulls for rear delt work. There's a lot you can do with these. Again, these with those other ankle straps, probably a top 5 handle for me. I use these a lot, and they're super easy to attach and use. Also, I basically made this kind of random, but I made a monkey bar course in my basement for my kids. There's a bunch of these hanging so that basically you can swing through like Tarzan. Feel great for that purpose too, in case you do that. But generally, I really like these. Okay, there's a bunch of odds and ends of various gym equipment that I really like and I've been using lately. Let me know in the comments anything you think I could pick up and I should do a video on in the future that maybe relates to some of these. Or have you used any of these and you can sound off and give your own review in the comments. I'd love to hear it and know other people would too. This has been Coop from Crash Reviews. I'll see you next time.